Hello, it's Ian Q from Ultimate Mental Conditioning, and I'm joined here by the wonderful Donna. Thank you for joining me today, Donna.
Oh, delighted.
So Donna, we've known each other for a little while now, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
And we met on when I was doing webinars, and from there it's we've got to know each other quite well, and it's great to see.
Yes. You've taken me a long journey.
So that's a good starting point, actually, Donna. If that's okay, we'll go straight into questions. So
Yeah.
we've done a few sessions together.
Yeah.
And this is just a conversation just to see where you were before the sessions and what happened, and discuss as much as you're comfortable with or how you felt at the time.
Yeah. So do you want me to start just rapidly?
Yeah.
When we started, I think best thing would be I was chameleon-like, following an abusive childhood, which led to abusive relationships. And I don't necessarily mean, with men and that, but friendships, that I became what I thought the person wanted me to be. And I was so grateful that that person liked me. And it made life very difficult because I hadn't a clue who I was, because I was whoever I was mirroring. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And lockdown forced me to sort of look at myself and say, right, fine, you've reached your 70s, enough's enough. You owe it to just do something about it. And throughout the years, I rabbit, you know I do. Throughout the years, I had self-help books, you name it, I've read it. I tried hypnotism, but the chameleon-like thing came, and the same with counseling. I said what I thought I needed to say. I did everything I could to try and force myself out of this sort of pretend life. Is that the best way of putting it? And then a mutual friend spoke about you, and I thought, and I started following you, and I thought there was something about the way you put things. You don't couch it in anything but the most direct way. And because I respected our mutual friend, I thought, and I spoke to her about you. And through that, I knew I could trust you. And so when you said you were doing this, and I was lucky enough to come on board, forgive me, but I thought, it's worth a try. And what got me was, at no point did you say, what do you want to make better? And at no point did you say, are you better? It was I can remember our very first session, and I was, right, fine. And at the end of it, I was so much calmer. And I went to bed that night, slept like I'd never slept before. But what was going through my head is what I had taken as my failings, I started to accept as my characteristics. And rather than trying to get rid of them, I worked with them. And then I had a look at the people in my life and whether I still wanted them in my life. And all this, it sounds, but that was after the first session, and then we worked on it. And I think if I said to you, my daughter said, who didn't know anything about what was happening, she said to me, I think it was after our second session, Mom, you're different, you're calmer. And it's just, I've become this person who I'll stand up for myself, but I'm not confrontational. I can be aggressive, but that's that's for another day. But I'm not frightened to say, hey, enough's enough.
Mm.
And if that person doesn't like me anymore, well, the fact I've had to stand up to them means that, well, we didn't have much of a friendship or relationship anyway.
Mm.
And it just became the norm for me to, I like me more now. And there's this calmer approach to things. If I'm asked to do something, I don't think, I better not say no because she really wants. I go, no, I don't fancy that.
Mm.
It was such a surprise the first time the person said, oh, that's okay then. I just thought you might. Sorry, you still want to be my friend. And it sounds pathetic, but that's who I was before.
Yeah.
And so I've gone from there to, weekend, went out and bought a car. And my son-in-law came with me to support me. And apparently he went home and said to my daughter, you see, your mum, remember what we thought? She was quiet. She made up her mind, she went for it, and that was it, done. Decisive decision made. And he said, well, should we maybe, no, I want that one.
Brilliant.
And it's just, if I said I feel freer, does that make sense? I'm not saying I don't sometimes think, but I've got the confidence to just, go for it, give it a try.
Great. It sounds wonderful, Donna. And it's so wonderful to see your journey and how far you've come. And you work hard. You work so hard.
But it was such a, it was such a no pressure thing.
Mm.
You know, and it's you proved you proved it. Just wow. I cannot believe I'm the same person.
I'm very pleased, and it's very well deserved, Donna, because you can definitely see just how much of a wonderful person you are. So Donna, what other things had you tried in the past?
Well, I tried counselling from more than one counsellor because obviously this has gone on since childhood, and but I don't know what there was a break once or twice. There would be someone that I would work with for so long, and then once the relationship was established, I tried to please the person.
Right,
and so didn't do myself any favors. And the same with hypnotism, it was with someone that I didn't trust. And I think therein lies the rub, because if you're not relaxed, surely it doesn't work. Self-help books have started courts. You know, if you could get it just by reading them, I would have done it. But I would start, for instance, daily journaling. This was the way to go. And after about 3 days, I'll forget it. You know? That's a bit of an exaggeration. But since our sessions, what I find now is I'm back painting and drawing, which is where I started off.
And I remember you saying that was something very important to you as well. And it's great to hear.
Yeah. And it's, what else have I tried? Just talking to people, trying to be honest. And but if I stood up to someone, I just couldn't do it. I would cry, and you lose ground the minute you do that. And even going in with a practiced speech or conversation in my head, the fear of rejection was still so strong. And I'm not going to say I don't have that now, but it's not prevalent now. I've not come across it, but then it's an odd situation just now. But it's, if for instance, if my daughter asked me to babysit, she wanted me to babysit tonight, normally or before, I would have contacted you and said, I'm sorry, can we reorganize? And I said to her, no, I'm sorry. I've got a video call.
Yeah.
And she went, okay, I'll see if, if Dad can do it. So I thought,
well, thank you very much for putting me first.
no, but I know I was putting me first but normally I would have done anything. I've just realised it wouldn't have been to please you, but it would, it would have been to please the person I'm speaking to.
Yeah, cancelling on plans and things like
yeah,
that.
oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I just don't feel the need to do that now. And if it causes upset, I mean, not that, but in my head, I'm not frightened. I think, well, I have rights too.
Yeah.
And I've never, ever, ever in 72 years thought that.
Amazing. That's great, Donna. So Donna, we did a couple of sessions. What can you remember from our sessions? Anything unusual?
Yes, it was following your finger. And that there was the one where it went up like that.
Yeah.
It just how the feeling that you get inside, just this, I don't know, going from to and there was after, was it our last session? I think it was maybe our last session. I slept and I had little sort of visits from all sorts of scenarios, quite ugly, nasty scenarios in my life, but they weren't nightmares. I resolved them. And it sounds bizarre and strange, but I did. But the real thing that for me to just hand me over to you, and just because you've got a finger that goes, but if you had known what I was before, I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have gone with it. I would have pretended. I would have tried to get an Ian smile and a pat in the head. But I would I think I did. I've recommended it to several people because of the feeling that you get, and you can actually feel it happening. It's when you're kind of drifting off.
Yeah.
Well, you've obviously had it, so you do know what I'm talking. But it was just going from there and just. And I remember once I had just after I broke my wrist, and you gave me, you taught me through to get rid of some of the pain. I thought, yeah, right. And you did. And wow.
Oh, it's great to see, Donna, and thank you very much for being here today to provide this review.
I owe you so much.
Well, you don't, Donna. You worked hard, and that's what I say to all my clients is, they put in their groundwork. I'm so pleased to see the results. And you came with an open mind, which is one of the golden rules. You've got to come with an open mind, because some of the techniques, I asked the question, anything unusual, because it is unusual things that we do. It's different if you've gone through counselling and things such as that, which is a talking therapy, to then suddenly, like you say, someone wiggling their fingers around.
I'm also a Reiki practitioner, so I've administered Reiki to other people and to myself. So you know how that works, but that is so much more powerful.
Yeah.
It's if you tell. I tried to describe it to someone today, to my ex-husband, and he sat there and you could see him kind of glazing over.
I could imagine when you describe it, it's different trying to describe it, isn't it, than having it, than see it, actually having the session. So Donna, things have, it's great to hear, and as you've described, things have gone really well, and people have noticed it as well, the difference. which is
Several
wonderful
people.
to hear.
Mhm.
That's great. Donna, thank you very much for your time.
Not at all. Not at all.
I'm
Thank
sure,
you for everything.
sure we'll be speaking soon.
I hope so. You take care. Thanks,
Yeah.
Ian. Bye.